States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll do a roll call for attendance.
Commissioner Bowser.
Here.
Commissioner Bueller. Commissioner Day.
Here.
Commissioner Hewitt.
Here.
Commissioner Robertson.
Here.
Commissioner Shaver.
Here.
Commissioner Warren.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, for approval of minutes, we're looking at May 4th, 2026 and May 18th, 2026.
And I sent both out, but I only included one in the packet. I'm sorry.
Okay, I do have corrections for May 18th.
Okay.
I'll pass them down.
Okay.
So have you received any corrections for May 4th?
No, I have not.
Any objections to minutes for May 4th standing or May 18th? Okay, so we have a motion to move to approve as presented. So we approve May 4th and May 18th. With corrections. All right, no courtesies, no proclamations. We'll move on to our board and commission reports. We'll start with Commissioner Shaver.
I have nothing.
Commissioner Bowser.
The ordinance committee met on May 20th. We visited about the upcoming zoning. Suggestion was made that maybe we need some working meetings with the commissioners. We want to get this right. We've seen the consequences of not having zoning, giving it more thought. We might want to do that. We spoke again about civil infractions. We've been getting a lot of complaints about parking and flight and dogs, and they do not seem to be getting taken care of. Maybe the commissioners need to study the effectiveness of our code enforcement process. After that meeting, I went to the library board meeting. A cleaner was hired to help out clean the library for $900 a month, as well as a handyman was hired. The summer reading program looks like it may be more expensive, but the staff is keeping an eye on the expenses. If there is an overrun, it was suggested the foundation or the Friends of the Library could help with expenses. The director's job description was amended for redundancies. There was a budget meeting scheduled on the 3rd, but that's been postponed. That's it.
Thank you.
We did a test on your mics. You actually have to have them about 2 inches from your mouth to hear. We put new batteries out and everything, but the testing for the sound, you have to be 2 inches from your mic to hear.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Robertson.
How's that? You hear me?
Yes.
I mean, back there. Commissioner Bowser talked about ordinance meeting, which I was in, and I don't have anything to add there. There was a TIF meeting. There was a discussion, but no motion made or no movement on potential parking on the corner over here between the Mint and just south of the Mint. We're going to take that up at the next meeting, which is next week. I believe it's next week, Monday. Is that correct, Ellie? Next Tuesday, sorry, next Tuesday. And that's all I have. There's an airport board meeting on Wednesday.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Commissioner Warren.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Commissioner Hewitt.
There will be an airport board meeting Wednesday at 2 o'clock at the airport.
Okay, thank you. All right, I have a Park and Rec Board report. And I am going to be a little more detailed in my report for this. I know that we have a lot of public here tonight, but this is just my Park and Rec Board report. You will all have a chance to make public comment later. Okay. All right. So we had our Park and Rec Board met on May 27th, and we had old business. There was discussed that there was a meeting on May 5th. In the evening before the night, we had our particular meeting for all farmer market vendors to discuss a possible location change. The Park and Rec Director did attend that meeting. At the meeting, the vendors decided with a majority vote that they would like to stay at Sims Park. The following evening was our Park and Rec meeting where public comment was made to petition staying in Sims Park. Solutions such as in-kind work by vendors to fill lawn holes, crosswalk guards could be arranged to help with street crossings. It was noted that the farmers market has 47 to 52 vendors weekly. The vendors requested that the city provide equipment for safety crossings, grass seed, fill dirt, porta potties, sprinklers, shut off Friday evening. The farmers market does not have an MOU or a formal agreement with the city. They do not provide insurance and they do not pay any fees for park usage. The cons brought up with Creekside being an alternative possibility due to size, safety, parking concerns at Sims Park. The cons with Creekside was lack of parking, the creek being unsafe for kids, a rundown house located nearby unsafe, and dogs being off leash and the grass being mushy. The only pros vendors saw at Creekside were the bathrooms. Vendors plan on 13 Saturdays for marketing. The Park and Rec Board had maps for both parks prepared with size and possible layouts. At that time, no one from the Farmers Market Association had been over to look at Creekside Park. A motion was made for vendors to remain at Sims Park for 1 year with a condition of vendors assisting with lawn care, providing a cross guard, and having the state repaint the crosswalks. Added that there would also be a formal agreement with the city. Also on areas of discussion for that meeting, we discussed that there are still guards needed for the summer staff. Okay. And training began this week, and then next week the pool is scheduled to be open. With our parks and trails, there's a new trail specialist that was hired. Friends of the Pool helped purchase 2 new dining boards for the pool. There's new tables and chairs purchased and new lounge chairs. And then last that was discussed is that there will be a community cleanup at East Fork on June 17th, and it's a Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Any questions regarding any of the reports made tonight from any of the areas in the commission? All right. Okay, we'll move on this time to our city manager report. City Manager Holly Phelps.
Yes, so the city currently has a request for proposals out for our downtown master plan. This information is available by emailing us, or they can reach out and talk to me on details. It will be advertised online and in print. The due date on those proposals is June 15th. We are also advertising for a position on the police commission. More information on that is available on our website and Facebook page, and it is also advertised in the newspaper. And then work has begun on the library's facility master plan and architectural report. They'll meet later this week and formally kick off that project. Also, the summer reading program kicks off. This year's theme is Unearth a Story, and there will be both youth and adult programs. More information is available on the library's website or Facebook page for that. Also coming up is the Lewistown Soccer Club will be hosting a portion of the state soccer tournament here in town at their facility. And so there'll be lots of teams in town and around. Those dates are June 13th and 14th. This year the swimming pool has been pushed, the opening day has been pushed back a couple of days due to issues with the boiler. Parts are to arrive later this week, and we can finish training our lifeguards. So the opening day has been pushed back to June 8th, so that's next Monday at their regular time. We are doing lesson sign up and selling passes beginning on Wednesday down at the pool. The biosolids project continues to move forward. The engineer is filling out a state revolving loan application for that project. We talked briefly last time that they do have final designs and are working to get those approved with DEQ and the budget for that. Also, to follow up our recent inspections, we have received correspondence on both the stormwater and the wastewater permits, and they are not requesting any additional information be provided at this time. The zoning codes, we are working to get the city county planning board, soon to be called the planning commission, together in June. We're working on draft bylaws that will be presented at their June 18th meeting. Also, the monthly committee meetings are listed there. June 12th is our Public Works Committee meeting. Our Ordinance Committee is June 17th, and our Audit Committee is June 18th. And then really not any huge changes in the openings. We are working to complete some testing dates for both officers and firefighters. So if people are interested in those positions, we encourage them to get their applications in right away so they can participate in those testing dates. That's all I have. Thank you.
Awesome, and then I just want to bring attention that the monthly meetings that our city manager was referring to with the Public Works, the Ordinance, and the Audit Committee, those are all open to the public. So it's nice to have public attend those meetings as well. Okay, we're going to be moving on to public comment regarding non-agenda items. So I will be reading our request for citizen participation. The Lewistown City Commission welcomes you to its public meeting. The Commission appreciates your participation and values your input in our decision-making process. Your input and suggestions are important to the Commission as we discuss important issues affecting all of us in Lewistown. We ask that you silence your cell phone before the meeting begins, and please refrain from using your cell phone during the meeting. Thank you. The City Commission thanks public members for respectfully and courteously providing constructive and valuable information. The public is invited to speak on any issue under discussion by the Commission after recognition by the presiding officer. Public members who are recognized by the presiding officer shall stand, give his or her name and address for the record. If applicable, give the person, firm, or organization he or she represents. Address comments to the presiding officer and not to individual members or staff. Limit comments to the matter of fact listed on the agenda unless recognized in the citizens' request portions. Keep comments brief to ensure adequate time for additional comment and commission business. Prepared statements are welcome and should be given to the clerk of commission. Prepared statements that are also read, however, may be deemed unduly repetitious if they are lengthy. In the event that there is a large number of people wanting to comment in a meeting or hearing, the presiding officer reserves the right to impose a time limit on comments to ensure adequate time for public comment and commission business. Impertinent or slanderous remarks towards city officials, staff, or other members of the public, or other boisterous, disorderly, or disruptive behavior during a commission meeting is not permitted. Swearing, derogatory language, threats, personal attacks, heckling, or similar behavior may be considered impertinent and/or disruptive. Any person exhibiting such behavior during the commission meeting may be admonished to cease that behavior or risk being asked to vacate the commission chambers. If such behavior continues after the admonishment, the presiding officer may request that person to vacate the commission chambers unless permission is to remain is granted by vote of the commission. Okay, so we will now hear public comment regarding non-agenda items. So if anyone has a comment regarding something that is not on the agenda, please come forward to the microphone and comment. non-agenda item. All right, we'll move on to our consent agenda. So acknowledgement of the claims that have been paid from May 15th to May 31st. Does anyone have any questions regarding the consent agenda? Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to accept the consent agenda from May 15th to May 31st.
I'll second
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Bowser and a second from Commissioner Hewitt. Any other questions regarding the consent agenda? Okay, all in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, consent agenda is approved. All righty, moving on to regular agenda. Item number 1 is discussion and action on the Park and Recreation Board decision on farmers market location. City Manager Holly Phelps.
Yes, so at the last Park and Recreation Board, the board heard from the, farmers market group, and Commissioner Day did a great job kind of summarizing, the comments received both at that meeting and prior to that meeting and the desires of the group. Their recommendation from the Park and Rec Board was to allow the group, farmers market group, to stay at Sims Park for this year, working to get an MOU in place for the current season, and then next year relocate to Creekside.
Okay, we'll go ahead and open for public comment regarding this agenda item.
I'm Kathy Walter. I'm with,
If you could come to the microphone, that would be great. And then we really appreciate when name and addresses are given. It helps us to be able to determine, for minutes, but also to know whose ward you're in and what commissioner.
okay, I'm Kathy Walter. I'm from the farmers market. I'm here to represent the farmers market. And
Can you
yes,
turn on the microphone, please?
sorry.
That's okay. Perfect, thank you.
Okay, I'm Kathy Walter. I'm here to represent farmers market. And yes, we would love to stay at Sims Park, but if that's the problem, that we can't, we'll make a dues but the farmers market vendors have said that they'd like to come in at City Park and fill out the gouge out things and help smooth it out so everything will be smoother this year, so nobody will fall and do all of that. And then down at if we do get to move to the Creekside, can we get a little help down there? I did check the parking, there's 70 parking spots. And how about the creek that's open? Will that be closed? Will that stay open? Is that a safety issue?
Can you address the creek? There's no access, or either Kelly or our Park and Rec Director or City Manager.
I would say, along the mill ditch side of it, it is fenced off, from basically the band shell down. That does provide, it's not really a steep drop to the creek, but that does provide access to the creek. Again, it does not, preclude people, and children from going there, but, no different than the highway at Sims Park. Parents need to watch their young children and things like that.
Thank you.
And then we had another question about if there's an event there, where do we end up going for that Saturday?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Michelle Rainey, 168 Castle Ridge Drive. I wasn't going to talk, but I'm thinking about this. So has it been proposed that they're only doing it this year, and next year they absolutely won't? Or will there be a process to maybe stay at Sims Park? Do we know where that stands?
That hasn't been decided yet. That's what we're hearing public comment for tonight.
Okay, because I really do think that's a great location for the amount of vendors we have. And we do appreciate you guys letting us go to the park. It's an amazing opportunity, and we do feel like we're offering something to the community too. It's a win-win for the city and the people. So hopefully we can somehow make that work where it could stay at Sims Park, because the other one just doesn't make sense to me with the amount of vendors, with the brewery right there. I can't see how we would set up. But anyway, I would vote for staying at Sims Park. That's my input. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Josh Meagard with Meagard's Produce. Just kind of curious, is there an answer for where we would set up? Would we go back up to Sims if we were moving down the Creekside when there was other events going on in Creekside, or would we be staying at Creekside during that event? I haven't heard an answer for that yet. That's a question that I think we deserve an answer on. If we were to move to Creekside, when you have your other events there, where would we be at?
So those questions can be part of our discussion this evening, but right now we would like to hear public comment.
Okay.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
sorry.
That's great. Any other public comment?
I'm Josh Stoichkov, I'm at 809 Third Ave South. My public comment is how many of these people at the farmer's market are actually citizens of the city of Lewistown? I'd like to know that. Thanks.
Any other public comment?
One more.
John Carlson, 314 4th Avenue North. If I heard the question right from the farmer's market about, was it access to the creek? If that is the case, the legislature, I think it was last year, in my book, made an asinine law that basically limits you from being able to use the creek to jump off the bridge, to swim in the water, etc. So I think there's an issue there that needs to be looked at. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Drew. I live at 128 C Street. I'm also a vendor at Farmers Market. So I'm here representing several businesses with their signed consent on this petition. They don't want us down there for parking and the fact that it's going to hurt their business. There's 4 pages here. We only did this for an hour. And they support us staying at Sims. If you would like copies of this, we can get you copies. We also have photos of the bridge down at Sims, the one over by Fleet. There's holes in the bridge and the deck is rotting. I also measured it out with a tape. We can get 50 vendors in there, that's it. With the size of the vendors that we have, the only way to get more vendors is if we shrink the amount of space that the vendors can use, which most of them can't, due to fruit vendors and stuff, they take up quite a bit for their produce. The other one is, if we do that, then we have to also take up all of the grass instead of the sidewalk, which will also destroy your grass down there that we already have problems with at Sims that we are willing to patch. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for listening to our comments tonight. My name is Leslie Long, and I live at 97 Trails End Lane. I do not live in the city, but I am a member of this community, which I think is a huge part of farmers markets. I've been part of it, I don't know if it's been 10 or 15 years. I think that it's a wonderful community event, first of all, like for our community. We get routine people just stopping through once or twice a year. We get lots of people coming through our town. So I would definitely vote for it to stay at Sims Park if that was possible. And I think, it was back in the winter, 3 of us came and talked about a sidewalk. And obviously that was a no, that can't be done right now. So I guess my issues, like that I commented at Parks and Recreation, was it's a safety issue, not just for farmers market, but for our community. We have a wonderful community here, and our parks are a huge part of that. Recreation, from even me, I don't live in the city, I live out of the city, but this is still my community, and I've used those parks for farmers market, but picnics and playing at the playgrounds. So I think it's more of a safety issue for the public in general, not just farmers market. But we decided at the Parks and Rec, we're going to go and jump in and fix those. My first thought is, I just feel like whether it's holes in the park, something in the pothole, the wall is broken, we just have to maintain some of those things. And if they're allowing us to do that, we'll be happy to help fix those for now. Positives at the Sims Park, many families I've had young children use that park there, the swings, the slides. Those are things that families love. And there's a lot of space, and we have expanded in the last, 5 or so years to a lot more vendors, and they're starting to go down those sidewalks, so we're utilizing that space. Creekside is beautiful. I go there for Centerfest as a vendor. It's a beautiful area. I just don't know if it's big enough for what we have right now, but if that's where we end up going, then we'll figure it out and make it work. But I would just like to say thank you for letting us have farmers market in our beautiful parks. We'll work on those potholes. And I also appreciate you folks listening to us as the vendors that are there week in, week out. Rather than, the folks that have never been or don't really know what it's about. So I appreciate you listening to our comments on that. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Is it possible to comment by phone?
Absolutely. If you could give your name and address, that'd be great. Do you have that on?
Okay, yes. My name is Tiffany Knope, and I was just wanting to comment as, I guess, just a general public visitor to the market. I guess we've gone before to the Sims Park just this past year, and it did seem kind of odd to me that it was right on that curb, which was dangerous for kids in strollers. But I think the big thing I hear is that there's too many vendors, and I just want to say that I have sold at markets in other areas, and there has always been like an application. I don't know if that's been brought up before, but other markets that I've sold at have limited vendors, and I understand there's pushback to that, but I think it brings a quality market also when the manager can pick through and choose like vendors that, meet the criteria for certain categories of a market. So I would say maybe there, is some other things to consider as far as making applications for vendors. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment regarding this item on the agenda? Okay. All right, I would like to read a letter that was written from one of our citizens that applies to this particular agenda item. It says, "Dear City Commission members, I am writing to respectfully request that the following item be placed on an upcoming City Commission agenda for consideration and action. The request is that the City of Lewistown allows the Festival Committee of Centerfest to reserve the Creekside Marketplace and Pavilion exclusively for the Centerfest Music Festival on the first Saturday in August each year, beginning in 2026 and continuing until further notice. Details of the request include the reservation would apply specifically to the first Saturday in August annually. The entire Creekside Marketplace and Pavilion would be reserved exclusively for Centerfest Music Festival use on that date. This would be a standing reservation that remains in effect from year to year unless formally rescinded by the City Commission at a future date. This recurring reservation will provide stability and predictability for the Centerfest Music Festival, allowing organizers to plan effectively, secure vendors, artists, and sponsors, and continue growing this important community event that has won 2 awards so far and has brought in visitors from over 23 states in 2 different countries, in addition to the community and internationally acclaimed artists. Thank you for your time and consideration. I look forward to your response regarding placement of this item on the agenda. Sincerely, Renee. And that was Renee Rummins, and we'll have her address for the record as well, turned in with that letter. So we'll go ahead then and turn discussion over to the commissioners if they have any questions. Our Park and Rec Director is here this evening, and questions can be given to either City Manager or our Park and Rec Director.
So at this time, there's no MOU?
No,
Or,
correct.
and what about insurance? Sims Park, is there?
They don't provide any liability insurance.
So if someone were to get hurt, the city is
Correct.
liable.
Commissioner Robertson?
Is that on?
Now it is.
Now it's, I'm excited to see so many people here. I've been on this commission about 3 years, and we've never had as many people in the audience or participate in these meetings as we have in the last 3 months. And so it's great to have you all here. I start by saying, I love the farmer's market. My wife and I, when we remember that it's there, for some reason we forget when we're in town, we try to get to the farmer's market here or wherever we are, whatever city we're in, but especially here. And I absolutely do not want it to go away. I think it's important for our community. It adds a huge amount for our community. That said, I've always been troubled by where it is because it's kind of right on a state highway. Yes, the traffic slows down, but a lot of trucks going by and other stuff. And I've noticed over time, I always think of it of where am I gonna park, because am I gonna park right in front of a booth and are there people right there? I just worry about traffic on, I think, is it Ridgelawn? Is it the street right there? And then I think, how's my friend in a wheelchair ever gonna get access right along there? Because I guess they could go up the curb and then might be able to run down that sidewalk or that pathway there. And I really struggle with this topic because when Creekside was built, I had people in the community come and ask for donations at my company for that. We gave money, and the argument was that it's gonna hold concerts and the farmer's market and a lot of other things. And so I've always had it stuck in my head that that's where farmer's market would end up, was at that park. That's how it was sold to the whole community, and that whole parking lot, which is 90%, 80% public, is a public parking lot. And I was on the TIF board, no, I was not on the TIF board at the time, but I know the TIF board approved the funding of that parking lot with the whole premise being that the brewery was gonna have to tough it out when there were public events, and they lost their parking. So I'm really torn over it. And then lastly, maybe not lastly, I've had some people call me on this, and they haven't been the vendors that are here, and we can't do it without vendors. I understand that, I get that. But every call I've had has been, well, that's a no-brainer. Why doesn't it move? What's the controversy? Those are the calls I've gotten. Now, I understand that you don't feel that way. I get that. And I hear that it won't hold as many people, but I've been to many farmers markets that are at least as, in an area that at least that size with a lot more vendors. So I'm a little confused as to why some of that parking lot couldn't be, maybe the adjacent to the central feed building area couldn't be, maybe that front southern piece could be used for handicap parking and pick up drop off or something. And the whole back could be reserved and all the grass for vendors. So I'm kind of torn on the whole thing, and I don't understand what kicking the can for a year is gonna do. Is something gonna change in the next year? And other than, I appreciate everybody's going to do a lot of maintenance and go out and do that, but what's gonna change? Or is it gonna change the proximity to the highway and Ridge Lawn, or what changes there in the next year? I just don't understand that. And I guess I think part of this, my gut, is that a lot of it is just, it's change. It's been moved around, I understand it, it's been at Frank Day Park, and then it's been moved over to Sims Park, and this is a tough, change is just difficult for humans, and me included. Is this just a difficult change? Or are we better to try it and try to organize it better? That's not a criticism of you folks who organize it. I'm saying, come up with a layout, come up with how it can flow. It just seems like Creekside was built for that purpose, among others. Can we not use it there? I think that is a big issue of where does it go for that weekend? You can't just not have it that weekend, but have we kicked that idea around or try to find a better location for it for one weekend? Or a different location for one weekend, because that is a big festival, it brings a lot of people. I would hate to see that controversy. So that's my 2 cents. Struggle.
Thank you. Any other comments from the commission?
Are we gonna be making a motion? In the letter from Ms. Rummins, it's asking something of us, right?
Correct.
So can we make a motion on that?
Well, right now, what we're discussing is having a motion on the Park and Rec Board's decision that they made. The decision that was made at the Park and Rec meeting was a motion to extend it to a year for them to stay at Sims Park. There were conditions also with that motion. The conditions were that they provided, did some in-kind work with filling some holes in the park, having the crosswalk painted, and supplying a crossing guard. That was all of them, right? For the motion. So the Park and Rec Board is an advisory board. Ultimately, the commission can make the decision.
I would like to, I think we need to protect that weekend of Music Fest. And I think we should make the motion and give her, or give that its due respect and give it that weekend.
And we can place that on a future agenda item, or it could be.
Well, right now we have
Right now, we have no motion on the table right now.
Correct.
Mhm.
And we do have a policy that implements how we deal with those exclusive uses for Creekside. That's how it's been handled in the past, is she reserves that, they pay for exclusive use of that entire facility.
And they've done that already or not?
For this year, they have done that, yep. And
But every year they have to come ask us, or we can't? Every year?
that's what we
Unless we
have
make
done
a
in the
motion,
past.
Right, so
that's their weekend.
we can't make a motion on that item, it's gotta come back, because we gotta advertise. However, you have been asked by your audience what you would do that weekend. So if you're going to make a motion to move it to Creekside, or whatever you're going to do, included in that motion, you could say, for that Centerfest weekend, we are going to put them X. Because they are asking that question of
And those items were brought up during discussion from the public, is what to do if there's an event. There was also a question during public comment about how many vendors are Lewistown residents. We had an online comment as to whether or not applicants as vendors need to be city residents. Questions about the bridge at Creekside. Comments that the vendor only holds, space for 50, the park only holds 50 vendor spaces. I don't know if that's ever been really determined or not.
I know that through the Park and Recreation, kind of public process, there was some desire for the farmer's market to participate in some downtown activities. And so that first, weekend of August may be an opportunity for them to, close off some downtown streets and partner with the Downtown Association or other groups in our downtown to do something new and exciting. That was definitely something that was discussed at the Park and Recreation Board. But ultimately, no plans for what they would do during that weekend of what provide.
When is the first date of the first farmer's market?
I had in different information. I think that's a great question. I have this next Saturday, but in the newspaper it mentioned the 20th. So do you know, what is the date of the first farmer's market? The 20th of June?
Originally, I was told June 6th. Did you change that date?
No, we didn't change it.
And does that still include 15 market days, 15 weeks of marketing? I probably said that wrong. 15 weeks of marketing, 15 weeks of market. Okay. It looks like there was another comment from the public. Did we have any other public comment? Okay. All right. So discussion has been pretty in-depth. We had a lot of discussion at Farmers in our Park and Rec Board meeting. I just want to see, do you want to have any comments, Kelly, at all, or any comments you'd like to add?
No, I'm willing to answer any questions you may have of me of anything that was said in that meeting. Also, I attended their meeting as well to get a feel for how they were feeling. I think that the Park and Recreation Board felt like there were still some questions as to things like Centerfest, and so that's, I think, in part why we decided to give them another year, talk about it, meet down at the location. We did give them an opportunity to meet with us and some of the park board. One particular park board member put together some maps of the area with linear feet for booths and offered to meet with, anyone from the farmer's market, and no one set up a meeting with us to do that, so that made it a little difficult to make decisions when we didn't have an opportunity to show them the space, but.
Commissioner Robertson?
I seem to have one question. That, you did some measuring down there to try to figure out space?
One of our park board members did, yes.
And what, can you enlighten us on what you learned?
So he used Google Maps. I'll be transparent about that because in the park board meeting, we talked about that, and there were some people that didn't love the Google Maps format for this, but the linear feet for the sidewalk, did you want to answer this?
I'm Josh Stoichkov. I made the maps. I
Thank
use
you.
Google Earth Pro, so.
Okay, thank you.
It's Pro, so.
Sorry.
Yeah, and I've been a forester for 12 years. It's what I do for my job, so, I feel it's pretty accurate.
Do you have that? I have the measurements that you came up with, Josh. Do you want me to share those?
Yeah, you can. I didn't bring anything.
Thank you
so
for
I can-
correcting me, not Google Maps. That's
Yeah.
what I would have used. He is more of a professional than I am. So the linear feet that Josh measured at Creekside along the sidewalk area, please correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, was 520 feet. And then if you go across the highway to the fish statue and that section of trail, which also has sidewalks, kind of over on the Yogo side where the fish statue is located, there is an additional 210 feet along the sidewalk of linear feet. So that puts us at a total of 630 linear feet
at Sims Park, where they're using now along, Hawthorne, or Ridgelawn, thank you, and that corner and up the state highway, where they are currently setting up farmer's market is around 625 linear feet. So we would have to move across the highway to have the additional linear footage on the sidewalk. We did determine though that Creekside, that entire area, I shouldn't say we, Josh determined that that entire area with the park included, which would not be used like in the instance of Centerfest where we use that to set up for people to watch, you know, that area of lawn would also be available. That is an area of about an acre. So it's a relatively large park area. And so that's that information.
And there are those crossing beacons.
We do have a crosswalk there on that section of trail, yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, at Creekside.
Would you also be able to comment, on the parking? I know that we discussed that a lot at our Park and Rec meeting, the differences of the parking situation at Creekside and in Sims Park. Would you be able to comment on that for our commission as well?
Well, I think that the vendors have always been courteous in their defense of trying to park away from where they set up markets. So they set up and then they pull their cars in other areas. So they leave that parking open on the street. However, as we mentioned earlier, the city owns the majority of the parking lot at Creekside. So there are a lot of spaces there that are city owned. So that, I mean, if the vendors were still willing to be courteous and park on the street, that opens up a lot of parking for citizens, which handicap accessibility, which is always at the forefront of our mind in the city, making everything handicap accessible to the sidewalks. I think, you know, if you look at the parking lot to the sidewalk in that respect, it's gonna be better parking. Because like you mentioned, if you park out on the state highway and you're trying to get someone in a wheelchair across the state highway, it's just a little bit more contained, I think, the parking, so.
Thank you. Okay. Any other public comment?
My last comment would be, I would recommend to move the farmer's market during Centerfest across the street, up the trail that way, to the south. Just makes sense to me, but I don't frequent the farmer's market, so, thank you.
In response to Josh, I tried to look up your number, give it to me, and I'll call you and we'll set something up for next week. Anyway, or later this week. I talked to the state. They said they would repaint down there, take a look at it, and they also said that all your flashing lights are currently on easement. They could discuss getting an easement down there to get the flashing lights put in, and that is something that the farmer's market could also possibly fund if needed, if you guys get the paperwork done for flashing lights, if that is needed, if we stay within Sims. If that's something you guys need.
Hi, I'm Michelle Barcombe. I live at 311 West Main in the Crowley Flats Apartments, and I am here as a vendor as well. In response to putting vendors on the parking lot at Creekside, what then would happen with the parking for our customers? They would still have to be parking on the main highway or trying to cross that main highway more so if we put vendors on the parking lot to make up for the limited space on the lawn if we only go around the sidewalks. And it would still also cause a problem to only go around those sidewalks for people in wheelchairs and strollers and such to have to go across the grass. Thank you.
Probably pointing out, Josh Meager's produce, probably pointing out obvious, but the state highway runs right past Creekside, just like it does Essex. There's no really much difference. Same speed, limit, everything. And I sit in front of the loan sale, and that stoplight crossing there, not stoplight, but the warning light for people crossing there, I'd say 75% of the vehicles don't even slow down when people are trying to cross there. So I talking state highway versus Sims versus Creekside, to me, pointless. There's no difference. Question for us, not necessarily be citizens of Lewistown City, how many farmers do you have in the city? Thank you.
I think that is it okay if I talk?
Yeah, you can come on
I
up.
think the reason that it was discussed, the state highway being dangerous and the public has commented on that is because the farmer's market is actually set up along the state highway, where at Creekside, we're not talking about setting up along the state highway. I think that is the reason that the park board took that into consideration.
Mindy Brown, 186 Roundhouse Road. To his point, I use the trails to ride bike. I can't tell you how many times I've been at that Creekside intersection and nobody stopped for me and I had to wait, which is safety first, whatever. And being a resident of the city, having been involved in Choctaw Festival before, which basically shuts down the whole town, tell me how many of those people are citizens of Lewistown.
Kathy Williams, Sprinkler County. The first time we came, my idea, what I wanted was downtown. I wanted 2 blocks of Main Street, but I guess it's a state highway, and they won't block it off consistently every Saturday. There'd be lots of parking, there'd be level ground. I think we could do that. I'd love that.
I'd like to respond, and I'm not arguing with you, Ms. Walters, at all. The discussion of moving to Creekside and building Creekside was to get people off Main Street into a park for events like yours in a safer place where it was dedicated for that, instead of trying to deal with the state closing Main Street. And so we've kind of gone full circle, it feels like to me, back to, I understand your desire to be on Main Street. We built this many $million-dollar park just for this purpose. And it seems like we just keep chasing our tail on this, you know?
I have a question for someone, I'm not sure who. I did not know that the farmer's market had ever been at Frank Day Park. When was that? He can answer.
Josh Nygaard. So my mom in 2000, she was the market master for farmers market, and they moved from Frank Day's Park up to Sims Park. There was no way of getting business at Frank's Day Park. The market was about done. It was about to crash. As soon as they moved it up to Sims, it started to increase in sales and everything else.
And it was there for about 4 years prior to that, I believe,
Yes.
correct? I talked to Jim Daniels about that, that was during his.
Thank you. Commissioner Shaver?
No, I'm sorry. I got all kinds of catching up to do here, I'm a little off. The farmer's market has to get a permit from the city to use either park?
An event application should be being filled out along with an MOU.
And they do this,
Provided insurance.
do they do this once a year for the whole year, or?
That was the agreement that the park board set forth at our last meeting, is that they would yearly sign an agreement or an MOU, memorandum of understanding, with the city to use that space, yes.
I believe it's been an unofficial use.
It has been
What you're wording.
unofficial for
Yeah, and
many,
that's what I
many
just,
years.
in my head, I'm thinking, I don't care where you have the farmer's market. I don't know why we're worried about it. Why, if.
Can I
I
go
understand,
some-
we're not gonna build the $250,000 sidewalk for you and all this safety stuff. You know, when I was a kid, that cannon that's on the corner there was not chained off. You could crawl to the very top of that cannon. I've done it 100 times. And we didn't worry about the safety. We watched our kids, or thank God someone was watching me. But, yeah, I don't understand why we're even.
I think we're more.
I think we're trying to talk you guys into going to the Creekside market, it sounds like, and I don't know, I don't know. It's one of those things where we have planned for the future, we plan on this beautiful park, to have the musical festival is awesome, we're doing, that right there, I think, makes space for the park, or in my view, it's worth it. But we're not gonna force everyone to use those facilities, and have two markets, have one at both places, there you go.
Commissioner Robertson?
Commissioner Shaver, I think the whole point here is, you know, I can't go sell used cars in Sims Market. And nobody's selling used cars, and that's not a derogatory thing. But you can't just go set up shop on public land, wherever you want. And we're here to manage that, that's our job. And there's liabilities, and there's who's gonna get to do what, and who gets what territory when. And I think these folks have done an exemplary job of organizing themselves for the last 26 years, it sounds like. And farmers markets are prolific all over the United States, and they're huge in a lot of places, and I hope this gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But I think we have a responsibility to give them the facilities and help them promote those and let them use a facility, but we also need to put guardrails on it so that it doesn't become used cars in the middle. I mean, what you're saying, I think I heard you say, is who are we to stop them from doing? Well, that's who are we to stop the next guy from setting up his used car lot? That's what we do. I think our role is to say, here's the best place for the community as a whole to go see a bunch of vendors on a Saturday, regardless.
Josh Storchoff again, and the term is unauthorized use of public lands. I just wanted to reiterate that I'm on the Park and Rec Board, and we handled the decision a few days ago, and now it's here. So I agree with you, like I thought took care of it. So that's really my intent in being here. I take care of everything else, but I put time and effort into being on the Park and Rec Board, so I'd like to know, why is that being overlooked? But as you said, it was an advisory board, so thank you for that clarification.
Thank you. There is a strip of land behind the Yogo, and it follows the trail also.
Correct.
Now, is that a feasible place to hold farmers market?
I'm not a vendor of the farmer's market, but it just seems to make sense to me that if you have Centerfest going on, wouldn't you want to be close to that action, within walking distance? And I believe that the fish park in between Yogo and that little trail, and I walk it 4 days a week to work, it's got plenty of room with a nice hard top with both sides of the trail that I think would be a good spot for a alternate location.
Is that city property?
Yes, it is. Yep.
Nice to sneak a public comment in. Douglas Day, 1118 West Water. I've got two thoughts. I pay a lot of tax in Lewistown with businesses downtown and my home. So that's important to me, how we use it. But as a lawyer, I take calls all across Montana, and some of those calls happen with people injured at farmers markets. Luckily not here in Lewistown yet, but it's shocking to me that we're not requiring any kind of insurance. Especially when there's lots of discussion about dangers, whether it's the highway or potholes or things. This is a recorded public meeting, and if someone were hurt or injured, I would be wanting that transcript and saying, you guys knew. You knew it was dangerous and you didn't require insurance or even an MOU. That's a problem for the city and my taxes. So that's my comment.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion?
I want to make a motion that we follow the Park and Rec Board recommendation to allow this summer only to continue with Sims Park so that there can be planning done to move next year to Creekside, and that there absolutely this year must be an insurance policy in place with an organization that represents all the vendors. They have to be signatory to, and that there's an MOU in this regard with the same group.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Robertson and a second from Commissioner Warren. Okay, any other questions regarding the motion?
Can you repeat it? Sorry, what is that?
Yeah. Okay, so this is what we'll be discussing. We'll discuss the motion and we'll repeat it. We'll discuss it as a commission and then we'll let the public have a chance to discuss the motion as well. But the motion stands as, do you want to read, Nikki?
The motion is to follow the Park and Recreation Board's recommendation to remain at Farmers Market to remain at Sims Park this year and move to Creekside next year with MOU in place this year and provide insurance for all vendors at the market.
Okay. So,
Close, good, bad?
Yeah, I think the vendors need to, just from a legal standpoint, I'm not an attorney, but I dealt with a lot of law in my career. The vendors need to all be signatory to some association or organization so that they can be covered by that same policy. Mr. Day, am I wrong?
Have our city attorney look at it?
Yeah, if they were calling me saying, hey, how do we set this up? I would be saying, call one of these insurance agencies in our town. Get a policy that's gonna cover everybody who's at the market, and they have to register with you. I think they do. I think they pay a fee. I think that they have to.
There's
fill out an
special event
application.
insurance right now that goes on, so they've gotta have something.
And that would provide some checks and balances of someone just setting up their used cars. You know, a bunch of parked cars there, and you can make sure the farmer's market is that, something that we would want to go to rather than just anybody showing up. And having to pay a fee, so they're covered, and there's a policy.
when the motion reads to uphold what the Park and Rec Board had decided, would that include also all of the conditions that we had as a Park and Rec Board? So continue to have the crosswalk painted, the crossing guard volunteer, along with that agreement.
That would be my understanding, yes.
To have that.
Commissioner Robertson?
Okay, any other questions from the commission?
That would also give us time to figure out what to do during the Cinefest week. That'll give us a little breathing room. And, you know, input from you guys too, what works for you. So, that'll give us some time to figure that out.
Yes. Public.
So would the Veterans Park next door be included in that ish area, or?
I didn't include, that was not my thought process.
Okay, because I know on the west side of the creek, there's a lot of nice flat areas with trees and picnic tables and stuff too, so I was just kind of curious if that be included.
I don't know for sure if that's in.
That is the city park, so it could be.
So that Veterans Park is city property too? Okay, because it's all kind of right there.
Okay, we have a motion on the table, we have a second. We've listened from additional comments from the commission. I just want to make sure everybody from the public has had a chance to comment on the motion at hand. Everyone understands the motion? Okay, let's do a roll call vote. I do want to say, just before we do the vote, like, thank you so much. I know that that was a lot for the vendors to come out to Park and Rec and for us to hear all of the comments and everything that was said. It's not an easy decision to make. I know from a small business perspective and from the Downtown Association, it would be wonderful to see Creekside is called Creekside Marketplace and Pavilion. It would be nice to see the farmers market down there with opportunity for you guys to grow, for you to grow your revenue and your visibility and all of that good stuff. We appreciate you in our community and everything that you're doing, and hopefully all of our commission and Park and Rec Board will show up and support that market, but in the right way. We require special event permit from everybody, you know, to rent parks and to provide insurance, and it seems right and fair. So I encourage you to get organized as a organization, put that together, and go from there. And I'm sure we'll be in discussion more about these other issues that we've talked about. Okay. All right, let's do a roll call vote.
Do I need to read the motion again?
Sure.
Okay, so we are making the motion to follow the Park and Recreation Board recommendation with conditions to remain at Sims Park for 1 year and to move to Creekside next year. We need to have an MOU with the farmers market group and the vendors to be covered by insurance. Everyone understand the motion? You have a question, Deb? Okay. Commissioner Bowser?
Aye.
Commissioner Buell, she's not here, sorry. Commissioner Day?
Aye.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Robertson?
Aye.
Commissioner Shaver?
Nay.
Commissioner Warren?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes.
Thank you. Okay, we will be moving on to item number 2 on our regular agenda. So if you would like to leave, you're welcome to, but I do want to remind the public that at the end of our meeting, we do take citizen requests, and we also have discussion regarding the meeting as a whole during our commission minutes. So some of the things that we've already discussed may come up again. You're more than welcome to stay, but you're also welcome to go. So just wanted to clarify that. So moving on to item number 2 is discussion and action on approving the 2026 through 2029 park maintenance contract. City Manager Holly Feld.
Yes, so included in your packet is the one bid we did receive for park maintenance, as well as our maintenance agreement. Again, we contract with a private contractor to mow all of our parks, pretty much, as well as maintain other recreational spaces. As you can see, the list of the properties and their expectations listed in the agreement. This year, we received just the one bid. It is from our existing contractor. And again, there is an option for year 2 and 3 on that. The increase over last year was $3,000 for year 1, and then you can see the $2,000 each of the subsequent years.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Creekside Park, why, I assume it says it's a decline?
Yes.
Why is he declining?
Well, we forgot to remove it when we sent out the bid document. We didn't want it on there because our staff are taking care of it.
Oh,
We have
okay.
always maintained
Painted
that
ourselves, so.
Okay, all right, thank you.
What is the current rate? It's right in front of you somewhere.
Those rates.
55.
The current year that we're in now
Right now.
should
Is 52,
52.
and the first bid is 55, so 3,000.
And he uses his equipment and gas and everything.
Yep, and you can see, I mean, we have provisions on how frequently he mows it. He does dispose of garbage and trim and do sprinkler repair and things like that as well.
Why is Creekside done separately?
We always have just maintained it ourselves. So we actually have city staff over there regularly cleaning, picking up garbage and mowing.
Why don't we give him Creekside?
He doesn't want it.
Okay.
It was accidentally put in there,
That's too much.
but he didn't want it to begin with. And, you know, the thing is, when Kelly's in charge of it down there, but if there's like for Centerfest and stuff, there's certain things that we do to prepare for these events. If it doesn't fit in his schedule, we're gonna end up doing it anyways.
Do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we get Rick Sandor the maintenance contract with the city park. I think he does a great job. Yeah, I would think so, till 2029.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Bowser and a second from Commissioner Robertson. Any other questions regarding the park contract for maintenance? Any other comment from the public? All right, let's do a roll call vote.
Okay, we are approving the 26-20 to 29 park maintenance contract, and we're awarding it to Rick Sandor. Commissioner Bowser.
Aye.
Commissioner Day.
Aye.
Commissioner Hewitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Robertson.
Aye.
Commissioner Shaver.
Aye.
Commissioner Warren.
Aye.
Thank you, motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 3 is discussion and action on selecting an agency to enter into a contract for workers' compensation coverage. City Manager Holly Phelps.
Yes, so included in your packet is the notice we received with a lot of advanced correspondence regarding MMIA winding down their work comp program. So beginning last fall, we received formal notice on that change. So in that process, we have continued to work with them to come up with the RFQ, sorry, thank you, RFQ process to select a new work comp coverage provider for the city of Lewistown, also providing us things like historic losses and things like that. And so last month we put together this RFQ that you can see also provided in your packet, where we asked a handful of vendors to submit their qualifications in the work comp realm. And so Nikki can talk about the process. We had many contractors reaching out to us through the spring, and so she had emailed several. We did get 4 proposals back, so listing their qualifications. Of those, there were several that were very qualified, and tonight we are going to make a recommendation. Is there anything you want to add there, Nikki, as far as the process?
Not that I can think of at this time, unless there's questions.
So like I said, MMIA is no longer providing this coverage, so every municipality around the state also was in this situation where they were looking for insurance coverage as well. And so we did receive several great proposals from folks. Tonight, both Nikki and I went through these and are willing to move forward a recommendation for Marsh McLean Agency out of Helena. Again, they were formerly Payne West and put together a very good proposal. Their company has worked in the work comp realm for a long time. They also provide a lot of other municipalities work comp coverage at this time.
Are their costs comparable to what we?
So this qualifications does not explore any costs at all. Tonight, you will, if approved, move forward with us working towards a contract with this agency. And so through that process, then we'll get to the dollars and cents, what that costs. And that also will have to come back to you guys for approval.
The big thing that this company was able to do for my portion of the job is if someone is injured, they will, as part of their qualification, they explain that they explain the process to me, that I won't be, this person's hurt, I submit it and I'm left hanging and I don't get help. They give me a contact and walk me through, and they also have the programs for return to work. They'll have safety programs, other things that I can provide to the city in the different departments. So that's a big help.
And so you can see the key points. I mean, there's 17 items that were really asked the various providers to expound on. Team, the years of experience. All of them were licensed to do business in the state of Montana. we did get proposals from various sized firms. And so, again, that does limit your availability to do other things. A lot of it is specific to municipalities and the risks that municipalities incur. Nikki touched on briefly those additional services, and just kind of what other options we have, such as, safe driving or return to work, other safety programs, things like that, so.
Have you contacted the state fund?
So many of these will actually work with us to provide insurance through the state fund, so.
So this is selecting a brokerage firm with whom you'll work to select an actual provider.
Correct, a policy.
So how this works is, once we, if you approve who we are recommending, then we'll go into a contract, and that will be our broker. And they will be the ones that will
Marshall
go.
will be your broker. They'll take it out to the markets and see which policy is best.
Yes. And that was the thing, we had lots of help from lots of places that we didn't want to go out and get a quote, because then we're stuck with that quote. So they haven't even done a quote for the city of Lewistown yet, until we enter into this next step.
I had extensive experience with Marsh and Payne West, and they're one of Montana. Payne West was a Montana company. They were bought out by Marsh. Marsh established themselves throughout the state of Montana. They're probably the biggest and as high quality you're gonna find. I wouldn't say best, but because I wouldn't compare them, but very high quality provider. So, which office would you be working with, do you know?
The Helena office is one.
So that's probably because of municipalities.
Do we have a motion or questions, discussion, Commissioner Shaver?
I guess I'll move to accept your recommendation of Marsh McClellan for the work comp coverage policy brokerage.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Robertson and a second from Commissioner Bowser. Any other questions regarding the motion from the commission? Okay, from the public? Okay, let's do a roll call vote.
Okay, you are approving the recommendation to enter into a contract with Marsh McLennan Agency. Commissioner Bowser.
Aye.
Commissioner Day.
Aye.
Commissioner Hewitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Robertson.
Aye.
Commissioner Shaver.
Aye.
Commissioner Warren.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to our final item agenda tonight is discussion and action on approving a business license for West State Electric. City Manager Holly Phelps.
Yes, so we did receive a business application for an electrical contractor that plans on doing business in Lewistown. Again, this contractor is based out of Billings, but has projects located in Lewistown.
I make a motion to accept the business license application for Westside Electric. West State, sorry.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Bowser, a second from Commissioner Warren. Any other questions regarding this business license application? Any comments from the public? We'll do a roll call
Okay, we are approving the West State Electric business license. Commissioner Bowser.
Aye.
Commissioner Day.
vote. Aye.
Commissioner Hewitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Robertson.
Aye.
Commissioner Shaver.
Aye.
Commissioner Warren.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, citizens' requests. We will now hear citizen requests. Any requests from the public?
My name's Nathan Blackadar. I live at 916 Fifth Ave South. I didn't come here really today to like talk or anything, but one thing that meant a lot to me is like the mention of Veterans Park. Like I love the farmers market, I attend it when I can, but coming from a military background, I don't think it'd be a good idea to have them go there. It's like funerals and service members passing away happens all the time. Like this means a lot to me. Because on average, 22 soldiers a day end up taking their life, and it means a lot. Luckily, like I have my dad who's gotten help with it and all that, but I just don't think it'd be a good idea to put them there because you never know what could happen. If they got an event scheduled, that throws that all off, especially for like send-offs for that soldier. I've gone to a couple in Lewistown. I've experienced a lot of them when I lived on base. It's hard to like find a good time in Lewistown because it's not a big, you don't got the base here, that's in Great Falls, it's not around a lot. So this means a lot to me when like I can't go to them here. It's just sad to be there as well. But the ones I've attended, it's meant a lot to people that they were able to go there, have the space, say their condolences, and grieve. So I don't think it'd be a smart idea to have them there. But I'm all for the farmer's market too. I just don't see it working there, so.
Thank you very much for bringing that to our attention, we appreciate that.
And I think the question was on the other side of the creek, so on the east side of the creek, in the flat area that somebody asked about.
No, the west, I believe the west side of the creek, the opposite side of the creek with the lake.
Okay, any other citizens' requests? Alrighty, okay, we'll move on to commissioners' minutes. Which side do we want to start? Commissioner Hewitt?
Well, just a reminder that the airport board meets on this coming Wednesday at 9 o'clock. And we are working up at the airport, they are working on our runways, and so we're kind of out of commission to a degree.
Commissioner Warren?
We'll be meeting next Friday for Public Works, so nothing to learn.
Next Friday of next week?
Yep.
Commissioner Robertson?
If farmer's market isn't controversial enough, I have a more controversial issue to bring up that I heard from a constituent, which is, what are we doing about these cats running at large? We've heard this issue before. We talked about it, I think, before some of the commissioners are on this board right now are on it, that we were going to take up domestic animal licensing as a more serious sport here, and that we were going to find a way to figure out when people see a cat at large or a dog at large, who it belongs to. Just to stir the pot further, we had one constituent offer to dispose of any free-ranging cats if we wanted them to. And we as a board said maybe we should start by trying to figure out who belongs to those cats. And so I think it's important that we do bring that topic back to the board, free-ranging animals, how are we going to manage that? I think the discussion in the past that I'm not looking for debate on, I just wanted to point it out, was that we would license all domestic animals in the city limits, that if they were picked up without a license, they'd be held for a period of time, at which point, and they'd be put on some public notice that this was held, and that they would be potentially disposed of if they were not claimed. Cats in particular. So that's the first controversial one. The second one is, I had some constituents ask for traffic control at the intersection of Carroll Trail and Agate. We've discussed this a little bit in one of our public works meetings some time ago. The Carroll Trail has become a thoroughfare from Casino Creek over to Airport Road, and it's a residential neighborhood, and it gets a huge amount of traffic And so I would reiterate that it'd be nice to have some traffic control at the corner of Carroll Trail and Agate. Like we're going to do this summer at Crystal Drive and Fluorite where Lewis and Clark are, and make that intersection all stop so that we have safe roads for kids. And lastly, I would just say I too appreciate Mr. on respecting funerals and ceremonies at Veterans Park while trying to accommodate farmers market in the future. Thank you.
Commissioner Bowser?
I've also heard comments, there's people speeding on Boulevard, so we also need to kind of, that's the second or third comment I got about that, so. I want to thank everybody that was here with Farmers Market. I go to Farmers Market, but I have almost fallen at Farmers Market along there. It is sketchy, and I go almost every Saturday, so I really appreciate it. And if we could work something out, that'd be great, because I think I love Farmers Market. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Commissioner Shaver?
I have a good story. I got my hair cut this week, and the lady at the new barber shop said that the city was the easiest organization to work with. I like that. She said it was really easy, everything, she went in to get her licenses or whatever she had to get, and everything was really easy, so that was nice. The farmer's market, I also love the farmer's market. Have it wherever you want, that's kind of just what I'm thinking. Yeah, that's it, that's all I got, thanks.
I have nothing more to report on or any comments, just a huge appreciation for everybody coming back out again and hearing this topic, and hoping that you'll reach out to our amazing Park and Rec Director and work on all of those issues at bay so that we can have a wonderful summer. And that's pretty much it. Anything else for the good of the order? Okay, this meeting is adjourned.